Okay, so let's have a look at some American football bets, because if you know me, I like to put just a few quid down on some America. I love watching American football. I'm not particularly good at predicting it, but I do like to just throw just a couple of quid here and there, keep those stakes low and those odds long and those bets terrible. So yeah, it's my general mantra. And the terrible bets, what I like to do with the NFL is you can do quite well, I've found, on anytime touchdown scorers, because if you put a few together that are good, you do have to put a couple of maybes in there just to hike those odds up. So what I've gone for this week anyway is obviously Alexander Mattison for the Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook is questionable. He's likely to suit up, but it's will they limit his snaps if his injury is still bothering him. So there's a chance for Mattison. It opens the door slightly for Mattison to get into the end zone. I think he did last week. So yeah, I've gone for Mattison on there. Gibson for the Washington team, although they were awful last week. He should see the end zone against the Falcons. There's no reason why not. He's their number one back. And really, the Washington team should beat the Falcons. But given how terrible they were last week, that is by no means guaranteed. Now, I've gone for Zach Moss as well. Zach Moss to score for Buffalo anytime, purely because in fantasy, I am playing Singletary, and the NFL gods seem to hate me in fantasy at the moment. So obviously, the other running back for Buffalo is going to find the end zone multiple times. So, it's almost guaranteed, that one. Kamara, he should score against the Giants. He's the number one threat really for New Orleans. So yeah, so adding him to the slip is very short odds, but it's another kind of guaranteed one just to hike it up. Derrick Henry to score against the New York Jets. That again is almost guaranteed. And when you put them all together, it's 34.0321, which is a terrible bet, but I love that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I always put just a quid on that. It's worth a quid. You know what I mean? Always. And then I like to go through all of the games and just do what I like to call an NFL lottery ticket, and just go through and pick the games as I see them. I think the Minnesota Vikings, that's a pick 'em. They're both 1.91 respectively each team, so that is an absolute coin toss. So I'm going to go with the home team in that one. Minnesota Vikings should beat the Cleveland Browns there, because the thing is, they do it the wrong way round on so Washington are at Atlanta. Let's just have a look. So Washington are at Atlanta. So Atlanta are the home team. Yeah, so the home team are on the left on on the betting website, but the home team are on the right on the fantasy website. So it confuses the hell out of me. But yeah, so Minnesota are the home team playing against Cleveland Browns, so I'm going to take the home team there. Washington football team, they're away to the Atlanta Falcons, but I do feel like, as awful as they were last week, I still think that Washington should beat the Atlanta Falcons, because they've not been particularly good. Buffalo Bills against Houston Texans. Now, the Houston Texans, I mean, they are a 10-1 underdog. I mean, I don't think they're going to win, but god damn, there's some value. I mean, I don't think it's that unlikely. I mean, the Buffalo Bills are just really good. That's the problem, isn't it? They're really good, and they're at home, and the Houston Texans aren't great at the moment. But I don't think they were a complete car crash. They've shown, that they're still relatively competitive. And you've got the Chicago Bears against the Detroit Lions. I'm going with the Bears in that one, purely because they are at home as well. Dallas Cowboys against Carolina Panthers. If Christian McCaffrey's out, I don't really give the Panthers much of a chance. Dallas Cowboys are at home as well, and they looked really good last week, so I feel like they're probably going to win that one relatively easily without too much problem. Miami Dolphins against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Colts have had a rough season. Problem is, Carson Wentz is just not really very good, is he? I mean, he was good at one point, then he had that injury, and now he's just not looked himself at all. Jonathan Taylor, I drafted him high in my fantasy league as well, and yeah, he's just completely let me down. He's questionable as well. He might not even suit up for the game. So the Indianapolis Colts, I feel like they've got a really tough road game against the Dolphins there. I feel like the Dolphins take that one, so I'm betting on the Dolphins in that one. The Saints against the Giants. Again, the New Orleans Saints, they should win that one at home against the Giants. The Giants have shown like kind of flickers of being a good team, but I don't think they're going into New Orleans and winning that. The New York Jets against the Tennessee Titans, that's not even a question. The Titans, the Jets are at home, but the Titans are going to just walk through them. Then we've got the Chiefs against the Eagles. Now, the Chiefs are the away team there. Eagles are at home. Eagles have looked pretty good this season, to be fair. They've looked surprisingly good. I do feel like the Chiefs will probably be too much for them, though. Their offense is just too explosive. And whilst, the Chiefs haven't had the greatest start to the season, you've got to think that they're going to put it together against the Eagles there. Then you've got the Rams against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are actually the underdogs there. No, because the Rams do look really good, to be fair. There's a reason. But also, the Cardinals look very good. Kyler Murray is fantastic. So I am taking a punt on the underdog there, taking the Cardinals to beat the Rams. That's in LA, though, so that's a risky one. Then you've got the 49ers against the Seahawks. Again, the Seahawks are coming as the underdog there. I think mostly because the 49ers are pretty good and they are the home team, but the Seahawks have shown they're not bad this year at all, so I'm gonna have a little go on the Seahawks. Then you've got the Broncos against the Ravens. The Denver Broncos are the underdogs there, and kind of rightfully so, but they have looked all right this year, and they are at home, so I'm thinking maybe have a go on the Broncos there, just because they've got that home field advantage. It's at elevation, which is always a factor, because obviously the Broncos team, they're used to playing at that elevation, and obviously the Ravens aren't. So I mean, clutching at straws there, but because the Ravens are probably the better team on paper, but no, not by much. And there's the home field advantage. So Denver Broncos there. You've got the Packers against the Steelers. Now that's an interesting one. The Steelers 3.25 against. I mean, the Packers are at home and they are looking pretty good. The Steelers look good as well, though. I might have a go on the Steelers there, just because they're quite a long underdog. And you know what? The problem is the Packers, like, it depends what week you catch them. It seems like some weeks they look great and some weeks not so much. So I'm going to roll the dice on a not so much good week for the Green Bay Packers and see what the Steelers can do. Patriots against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are the heavy favourites in this one, rightfully so. I think the New England Patriots, I mean, they do have home field advantage, but I don't think it's much of an advantage. I think that the Buccaneers should win that one, so I'm adding that one to the bet slip. I'm going to try and be sensible with that one. And then you've got the Chargers against the Raiders, the 3-0 Raiders, top of their division, I think, with the Broncos, aren't they? And yeah, they've just looked really, really good. And I don't think I'm going to pick against them at this point either. You know what, the Chargers are at home, but yeah. You know what, I'm going to take the Raiders are the underdogs there. Like, the Raiders have just looked really, really impressive. They've really impressed me. So I'm going to take the Raiders as an underdog in that one, just for fun. And when you put all those together, oh Christ, that's 4,477.1121. I'm putting a £1 on that, and that is my NFL lottery ticket for week number 4. And we'll see how. I mean, obviously last week's one, neither of my bets came off, so there's no point in even going through them really. But yeah, like I said, it's a bit of fun, and yeah, I absolutely love watching American football, and yeah, I'll be enjoying it tonight. So until next week, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.